Good morning. It is Friday, June the 6th, 2025. And I just thought I would just do a short video and update you about what's been going on. But first, I got a really chuckle this morning as I was watching Grandma Lois. And if you don't know who that is, it's Lois Baird, Baird dash Rice, Rice. If you've not watched her, you need to. But she actually made a short video, like 8 minutes, and she said that she was thinking about starting making some short videos. And I hee-hawed right there on my couch because I don't think she can cut herself off from talking longer than, she loves those long videos, like 25, 30 minutes. And I always watch her all the way through because I feel like I'm just sitting there talking to her. But she says she's going to start making some short videos, so let's stay tuned and see if that happens. But, man, I look rough this morning. But I've had a busy morning, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But kind of wanted to update you about my friend Sandra, whose husband Harry was flown out to the University of Kentucky, must have been Wednesday night, that he passed away. And, of course, whenever somebody like that passes away, we just want to go console them or whatever. But she has asked that none of us come right now because I think she stayed by herself last night and she's wanting to kind of work through it. And I'm sure I would probably feel the very same way. But it was kind of a surprise. He had been sick, just like my husband is sick, but I'm sure when they pass away, it's, and the reality sets in, it's a whole different ball game. But please continue to remember her and her family in prayer. And my friend that had got in touch with all of us said that he had requested to be cremated, and they're not going to actually have any services right now, and they're going to have a celebration of life later. So, of course, we will all be there for that, and to be there when she needs us. So I wanted to update you about that. But just remember them. That's, like I was married 54 years yesterday. She's been married 57 years. So she was like 16, 17 when they got married. So, when you've spent your whole life with somebody like that, and really you've grown from a teenager to like an adult now, that's a big chunk of your life gone. And we're all going to have to face it, but I've seen it can be done. So let's just remember them. This morning, I had to take my husband get some blood work. Now, I'm telling you, he's about 6'2", and I don't want to say he used to weigh 200, maybe he weighed like 230 something, I think was his normal weight. He wasn't fat, but he was built solid. And now he weighs, well, he probably doesn't weigh that much now. The last time we weighed him, I think he was 184 pounds. He's like a stick. And his little shoulder bones just stick out and just don't have a butt. It hurts, but he walks around on that 3-prong walker. So I took him to get his blood work this morning. And then we ran over to this place where he gets his hair cut. And he's had a beard for about all of our married life. And his beard was grown out. And he got his hair cut. And it just makes him look so much better. But I got tickled in there at this barber. He's just in there by himself, and you know how barbers and beauticians are. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but they know everything going on in town. They know all the gossip. And he was just like hungry for somebody to talk to, and he was just talking his head off, telling us all about this program that's going on in our county that is a little bit scary. But I just got so tickled because, and when we got in the car, I told my husband, I said, those barbers know everything, or a hairstylist, anywhere you go, they know everything going on. And so if you ever want to know anything, of course, people go in there and they're relaxed and they're saying, you know, well, my husband hit me last night and blah, 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 blah. And then the next thing you know, the beautician is telling the next person that comes in, and then it's, so be careful. They're not therapists, and they're not somebody you can confide in. So only tell them what you want the world to know. Other than that, you better keep your mouth shut. I don't even want to talk about what he was talking about, but it was just interesting. But I wanted to tell you about the pork meat that I had cooked. And even Grandma Lois brought it up this morning because she knows how I don't like to cook. Listen, I went home yesterday. I threw that meat in one of those little grinders and just ground it up just fine as it could be. And I just put mayonnaise on it. Now later I saw that she said put some relish. Now I didn't think, hey, I'm not going to get fancy. If I make tuna, I might put a little relish in it, but I didn't think about putting no relish in it. I thought mayonnaise was just perfect. Well, I mixed that up, put it in the refrigerator. He was still out riding when I got home. When he come in, I said, I'm going to fix you something to eat, okay? Well, you know. So I fixed just a half a sandwich, just one slice of bread, slapped that meat on that mixture on there, put a little salt, and I took it in there. And he loves those snowballs, you know, those little Debbie snowballs that are with the pink icing, and he eats one of them about every day. He never said a word, but I noticed he ate the sandwich, but I didn't say, was it good? Because why do I even want to put myself through that? I don't know. So I didn't ask him, but I did notice he ate it all. Well, this morning, he was going to go ride. He's gone riding now just for a little while. His brother came and got him. And I said, I thought I might fix your brother a sandwich from that pork stuff that I fixed. He said, yeah, he would like that. That was good. And I thought, what? He admitted it, but just on the spur of the moment. If he had caught himself, he probably, because that was almost a compliment. Almost. But I'm going to take it as a compliment. So they've gone out riding. And it is as hot as it can be out here. The humidity is awful. Tonight and tomorrow will be the last 2 days of the fair. And they're giving a pretty good chance of thunderstorms and rain and stuff. So we'll have to see. But let me tell you, my girl stayed till about 10:30 last night. At almost 10:30, I texted her and I said, are you about ready to come home? I mean, I was dying to go to bed. She said, I'm getting in the car. So she came home. And someone said, if I didn't want to go to sleep, that I could put like a little bell on the door or something. It's not that I want to hear the door open. It's that if I went to sleep and she called me and had a flat tire or something, I would just be in a panic mode. So that's why that I don't go to sleep. Hey, I've had years of practice of sitting up waiting on somebody to come home. Whew. It's kind of hard when you're 73. Listen, if you didn't, which I don't know, here I am again, and I cannot think of Tracys. And I didn't put it in the comments yesterday like I said I would. My little friend Tracie that I love to watch so much. Let me see if I've got it down here. I don't. I thought I had it jotted down here. But anyway, she did her first live yesterday. And I think maybe, no, I don't know if I've got it. Let me just look and see if I've got it written down back here. No. I've got, that, but, well, isn't that crazy that you can't remember stuff like that? That just, it's something about Wylde, W-Y-L-D-E, but I promise that I'll look it up and write it on here. She did a live last night, and it was so much fun. I mean, she was like, I was afraid she was going to have an anxiety attack or something. She was so excited, she didn't know what to do. And people were just putting comments on there like everything. There was like 40-something maybe that showed up for that. So that was a great time. But guess what? I'm still not going to do it. I don't want to do a live, Tracy. And Grandma and all of you guys that are doing these live, I'm not going to do it. There would probably be 3 people show up, and they would be there by accident. So you can forget it. Do you know that this morning I've got 303 subscribers? Now, buddy, I am moving on up. That's so exciting. I get up every morning and do my little Bible reading and stuff, and then look at my analytics to see what's going on. It's awful how you get obsessed with this stuff, but what else you gonna do? Now, the good news is, I know what I'm fixing my husband for lunch. He's gonna have another one of those sandwiches. I told him this morning, I said, I can't stand to throw this good meat away, and if I put it in the freezer, it may be in there with some other stuff that probably needs to be gotten out of there. I told you, I ate some of that about 5 days in a row. Now, he's not eating it as much as I have. But he said he'd eat some today, so I am going to fix him some. And then I might take a nap. And I may not, because yesterday I didn't get a nap. And my eyes look a little swelled this morning because I think I slept so hard last night. Between waiting on him and trying to keep up with my girl, it's all this old woman can do. And I'm not going to cook. So now I'll have to be thinking about something for tomorrow. See, like this morning when he goes and rides, he won't eat because he has his first cup of coffee, and then he'll wait an hour, hour and a half. And if I'm walking by him and he's ready for his second cup of coffee, he'll kind of nod over toward the coffee cup. Or if I'm out of his sight, he'll say, I'm ready. So I'll go get his coffee cup, fix his coffee with this cream and sugar. So this morning, since he was going riding, he drinks one of those, well, it's not always a Boost, but you know, those protein drinks. Did you know some of those have 30 grams of protein in them? I don't know how many proteins you're supposed to have a day, but man, surely that would be plenty. But he says they taste awful. I hope I don't ever have to drink them. When my poor little mother had cancer, we would beg her to drink them, and she would beg us to not make her drink them because she says they're awful. So I don't know. You know, again, I'm going to mention that I had a new lady that made a comment. I love to read the comments, and I try to comment back on every one of them. Sometimes I'll miss one. But you know, we all like certain kinds of videos. And I'm getting a little tired, just me personally, of watching retirement videos. Because there's no sense in talking about money when you get to this point in your life. If you have not made some arrangements up to this point, you may have to put it in another gear. Because you got to make those plans early in life. And mentioning plans, you know, I was thinking about, now I don't know if Sandra and Harry had this written out, but she said that he wanted to be cremated and have a memorial service later. You know, now I don't want to be cremated, and we've already got our funeral plots. I've told you that. I'm not trying to do a Debbie Downer here, but I just want to throw this out there. Like we was talking about the Social Security the other day. It's so important to me at this point to have your funeral plans. And I think it's so hard on a family that so many, I mean, this is normally what people do is when someone dies, they have them at the funeral home, they have, uh, you know, what am I trying to think of? The viewing or that night, or maybe that night and maybe in the morning before the funeral. I don't want to do that. That is so hard. Now, I know with my brother, that was so hard. Of course, I had grieved the whole time he was in a coma, that there wasn't much left by the time that he passed away. Same thing with my mom. I don't think I shed a tear at her funeral because I had grieved and cried and just suffered while she was sick for about over a month. I guess it depends on the situation. And then like my son, when he died, it was so hard to have that the viewing and, people coming and telling you they're sorry, they know how you feel, he's better off, it's the Lord's will and all that, which is so true, but you don't want to hear that. And it's really hard to find something to say to people. You can't say anything to console them because I think everybody has to work out their own grief. So I think Sandra is doing a wonderful thing by doing this. And so I had talked to my husband about this just probably 2 or 3 years ago because, I thought if something was to happen to me and him, like at the same time, I wouldn't want my girl to have to come in and start making arrangements and have everything on her because I know how that feels. So we did a little plan. I've even been to the funeral home by myself and made the arrangements. I think I've already said that before, but just some of you that haven't heard that I took our little life insurance policy up there, which is nothing, but it will pay for the funeral, but that's about it, and the casket. And that day I was up there, I wasn't really prepared even like to go pick out a casket. I had to do that. But he's got all the information at the funeral home. We're not having the viewing. We're having just a little ceremony at the graveside. And if, whoever wants to come to that can come, but there'll be no viewing at the funeral home. And I don't want people viewing me because I don't like to have my picture made, and I sure don't want some people walking by looking at me laying there in the casket. So that's a big relief to have that done, and I don't think my girl even realizes what a relief that is, but she will probably appreciate it later. Do you know that I have been talking 18 minutes, and I'm waiting on her to get here for her lunch hour because she's working today, and I thought, well, I'll just make a Grandma Lois video for like 8 minutes. Honey, we ain't gonna be making no 8-minute videos. So just get over that thought. But I just wanted to update you about Sandra and Harry and to let you know that my lunch yesterday of a sandwich was a big hit, although I did not get a compliment. But I got it today. So, how about that? So, after my girl comes, I'm going to go home and maybe take a nap. I don't know that, but that's the plan. But plans can be changed. And I don't think I have to feed the horses today because she gets out earlier from work today. Here's that book I'm reading, Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. And guess what? I've not read another word since I talked to you yesterday. And listen, I can't be making videos every day, but I just want to because I feel like you guys are my family and that I've got to let you know what's going on, which my life is about as exciting as watching paint dry. But I have got one video saved that I haven't put up yet in case I need to put that up this weekend. I saw this one lady the other day that said she made 5 videos in one day and then puts them out like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if I can do that. I like to be current so you'll know what's going on. I'm getting off here. I hope you have a great weekend. Have fun. Well, if you can't, I don't know where my funny stories. I didn't bring one with me. Your husbands are going to be so disappointed, but just tell them that, uh-oh, there's my girl. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.